Alright, so this is the new CFI 550 featuring Turnigy motors, 28-30S motors, 900 kV. I'm using 12-inch propellers. They're just standard nylon propellers from High Model. They are inexpensive, and I didn't have the prop adapters for these motors, so I just put them on with zip ties. I'm using two 3,300 milliamp hour 3-cell batteries with a KK2 and the OrangeRX with DSM-X receiver and Armatan 30 amp speed controllers. It's a little bit windy here today, and I notice I've got a bit of jitter on this thing. Now that could be because the props are unbalanced or from the zip ties. I don't think they're perfectly centered. The good news is I have proper prop adapters coming in probably on Monday, so I will swap them out. I just wanted to get a feel for how this thing flies. The jitters are probably from PID tuning. I've only done some PID tuning indoors, so this is the first outdoor flight. And I can see I probably have to make some adjustments and maybe work on other things too, depending on how the blades balance out. So far it seems pretty good. Seems to have good available power. There's no problem there. The total weight is just under 1,400 grams with batteries. The batteries would take up almost half of that weight, I believe. So it's not really a heavy platform. Between the batteries and the motors, that's the crux of the weight right there. I'm not going to do any tricks on it today. So I want to do it when I have proper prop adapters on, and also when I get the stability done, blades balanced. KK2's really come a long ways now with the KK2.1.5, which I'm flying here. It's very stable. It seems to be a lot better than the older KK2s. It doesn't have huge throttle response, but that's also because it's lower kV motors, I think. It's not bad. I mean, I can definitely do banked corners and throttling through the corners. Having the two batteries seems to be useful. I'm not getting any sag. I'm not getting any beeping from the KK2. I've got the voltage alarm set. The batteries that I'm using are from China Hobby Line. It's the first time I've ever bought any batteries from there. They are using a Dean's connector, so I've got a dual Dean's input to the power distribution board on here. They appear to be very good quality. I've used them on my Octo X8 800mm octocopter, and I found that they had plenty of power, but they're also still brand new. I've only used those ones about 5-6 times, I think. This pair that I'm using here is the first full flight ever that they've done. So I don't expect there's going to be any problems this early on. They list as 30C output with a 60C burst. I'm going to say that's probably true based on the fact that I'm getting no voltage sags whatsoever, even in powered corners, which Again, I'm not pushing hard, but other batteries I've tried on similar platforms have sagged and resulted in voltage alarms in similar kind of conditions. This thing has a feeling like it's just going to fly forever. I'm hoping that once I get it balanced out, I can use it for FPV flying possibly, or for carrying a gimbal with a GoPro on it, which, judging by the way it's performing, I don't think that's going to be a problem at all. I think it's going to not even notice the weight of the gimbal and the GoPro. The only other issue I'd have to do is I'd probably have to come up with longer landing gear, because the way I've done it right now is the batteries are part of the landing gear system. I don't know if I can get in close enough here because it's a little bit jumpy. I don't want to get too close. But you can see the batteries are on kind of this little tray that I've created just with carbon fiber cross. And there's a strap for each battery. And then on the bottom of that tray, there's 4 nylon feet, or I guess they're rubber, 4 rubber feet. And that just provides the landing gear. So it's a nice low profile system. Works really nicely for just basic flight like this when you're not carrying anything underneath. I find I don't like big landing gear sticking out if I can avoid it. And this is like the best match between having retractable gear and all the weight and mechanisms and failure potential that that brings. This works out just fine. And it's enough protection for the batteries for gentle flight. If it's a really bad crash, I think I'm going to be worried a bit more about the batteries, but for general hard landings and stuff like that, I'm not too worried about it. It will be interesting to see how warm the motors get. I've never flown these Turnigy motors before. I'm not sure I really like them. I bought 4 of them, and one of them feels like it's got a bad bearing right out of the box. It spins fine, but it kind of, there's a little bit of play there that I don't think should be there. But for the price, I mean, it was quick, easy to get from Hobby King, and I was already ordering stuff anyway, that's why I bought them. I think I would try some Sunny Sky motors, maybe some T motors down the road, I'm not sure. There's a bunch of different things I want to try out for this kind of a platform. But for now, this is mostly testing my frame idea, because it's my own custom designed frame. My own center plates, my own arms. The arm material is all carbon fiber, and it's a custom carbon fiber blend that I had created for this purpose. As you can see, my arms are really thin. They're not tubes. They're actually carbon fiber plate. And they're quite flexible in that you can mount motors and things on them in different places. There's drill slots through them, through the whole length. For most of the length anyway. Which gives them a bit of flexibility if you want to do something different than what I'm doing. They're wide enough that you can tape down the LEDs if you like. That's on my list of things to do. I put a little outlet on the power distribution board, so that I have that flexibility if I should decide to try it, which I probably will. It's getting on towards winter here now. Well, it's fall. I don't want to rush winter, but the nights are getting a lot earlier than they used to, and with that comes less flying time. So as soon as I put LEDs on, I can still take advantage of some evening flights. And it's always fun to have LEDs on. People really enjoy that. It looks really cool. I do feel like the motors are a little bit less responsive now, so I wonder if that means the batteries are losing some juice. I mean, of course they are, but it does not feel like it's quite as strong as it was at the beginning. Still no beeps from the KK2. So I'm going to bring it in. I'm just going to check the voltage on the KK2, see what it says. Alright, what do we got? We have 11.1 volts. I'm going to fly a little more, just to see what I get. I have to say I'm really excited about this platform. I think, you know, a few different motor combinations to try out. I'm quite happy with the Armatan speed controllers so far. They come with the Simon K firmware, and Chris from Armatan does an excellent job of getting reasonably priced components that are pretty good quality. So I'm really happy to be using those right now. The only thing I'd rather use, if I had the choice, is the KISS speed controllers, which are smaller, lighter, they don't have a capacitor on them, and they use a jumper to switch motor direction. On this frame we've used bullet connectors for the motors so that we can easily switch them, because this is a test platform, so they're not direct soldered. So there is a little bit of weight that we can save there by removing 12 bullets. I guess 24 if you count both sides. Not a huge savings on a craft this size, but still, it all adds up. Excuse me. But anyway, the KISS speed controllers are highly regarded by a lot of people. They claim to have something called regenerative braking, which I'm not sure that means it actually puts power back in the cells. I don't think that's what they mean. I think they mean when you slow down when you reduce the throttle, the motors actively slow down instead of passively slow down, meaning you can have more accuracy and precision in your control. That sounds like a really cool feature. If I was to build this for a bigger craft for aerobatic flight, that would be really nice for flips and tricks. For longer range flight, I think it would be nice for FPV. I think this thing would need a better receiver. I'm not a huge fan of the orange receivers. I've had a couple fail on me, probably 3 or 4 actually. But when they work, they seem to be solid. When they don't, well, that's when things go funny. The one thing I do like is they do have a fail-safe setting. I've tried some cheap ones from High Model, and they did not have a fail-safe setting on them, and a craft flew away. Luckily I got it back. But, oh, there we go. First voltage alarm on the KK2 there. There we go. Okay, so now it's time to bring it in. That seemed like a pretty long flight to me, so I'm going to bring it in and see how it goes. Alright, so that's the maiden flight of the CFI 550mm carbon fiber quadcopter. I hope you enjoyed it. I can't wait to look back and see how long this video was, see how long it flew. But I would say that was very successful. The only thing I really want to do is I want to put on those prop adapters and balance those blades, and then adjust the PIDs to get that little wobble out. Thanks for watching. Take care.